Cari fratelli e sorelle, we are going to start with the birthdays this time. There will be a number, I'm afraid, that are belated. I blame YouTube, as always. The uploading takes forever. So belated birthday wishes to Donna Halliday, Luke Costello and Josh Clopton. And the rest of the week we have Dawn Meakin, Leonard Garcia, Tina Lewis and Zoe Owen. We also have my father, in fact, who has his birthday this week. So I wish all of them very many happy returns, and I hope they eat lots of cake. And now on to well, the substance of this week's vlog. You can possibly hear Jens Jr. singing in the background. He's making a lot of noise today. There isn't a great deal to report this week. My plantar fasciitis. Do you know, it comes and goes. It's certainly worse at the end of the week than it is at the start, which makes me think that rest does it good, despite what anybody else says. The other thing is that this week it's been particularly bad, and I don't know if that's because I've started the exercises which sort of, you know, you're supposed to stretch it and stuff, and that actually makes it hurt. I don't quite understand about it really, because they are trying to say that, you know, excessive walking or excessive pressure on it has caused the tendon to basically get thick, and that hurts. And yet they tell me that the route to recovery is to make it hurt as much as you can by continuing to walk on it, continuing to put pressure on it, and to do exercises that stretch it and hurt it. So I don't quite understand, but I am doing what I'm told, and I will continue to do so until my retreat holiday in August, about this time next month in fact, and then I shall go back to them if there is still an issue and start to get a bit nasty about it really. They do tell me that it can take a very long time to heal, but what I... get it? It's, well, it's pain in your heel anyway, but we'll see about that. What else to say? A bit of a faux pas this week. You might have realised that I've cut my hair. I don't do it very often. I do it about 2 or 3 times a year. What I basically do is I start off with it this length, wait until it's a bouffon out here, and then I just shave it all off and start all over again. I've never really been bothered about my hairstyle or anything like that. I have to admit that I like it less and less now that it's grey when it's long, whereas before it used to be dark brown, and now it's clearly a sort of grey, which makes me feel old. But anyway, I finally got round to cutting it, and I have my own cutters because it's cheaper in the long run. You know, you pay the equivalent of what you pay a barber once to do it, and then you can do it time and time and time again. This particular one I've probably been using for, gosh, a couple of years, you know, at least 3 or 4 years, but in fact maybe probably as long as I've been here in Markenfield, so nearly sort of 4 odd years. And they decided that they would break down in the middle of me cutting my hair, and that was quite late at night. So I did the best I could with the fast breaking down set of cutters, and my hair was not too bad from a long way away. Up close it was a little bit, it was not so good at the back. There were a few tufts. I had no choice other than to sort of carry on basically, which I think gave people at work a little bit of a laugh for a day or two. Thankfully, I got a new set of hair clippers, and you know, within a few moments all was rectified. There is major news this week, but I can't announce it, so I shall save it for a point at which I am allowed to talk about it. But there is exciting news coming up in the world. What else? Oh, only to say that this week, the campaign for the next Prime Minister has got off the ground. The Conservatives generally tend to host a leadership contest, and anybody who wants to run can run, and once they've announced themselves there is a vote, and the person who comes last in the vote is deleted, and then the parliamentarians re-vote. And they keep voting and keep voting as the pile of candidates gets smaller and smaller and smaller. When there is only 2 candidates left, the Conservatives then ask the general public, which are card-carrying Conservative members, so not everybody, but Conservative Party members that are not in Parliament, but actually, you know, just normal people, because anybody can sign up to be a card-carrying member of a political group. They get to then vote on those last 2, and from that last 2, the one that wins then becomes the party head. And because that party is ruling, by default they are then Prime Minister. So this last week has mainly been made up of that process of voting and re-voting and re-voting. And we had several people. We had there was at least 5, and Gove he's the sort of dangerous nationalist, if you ask me, who was one of the voices during the campaign. But even the parliamentarians, it appears, think that he's too much of a danger when it comes to negotiations. He can't negotiate, that's the problem. And you do need a skilled negotiator for Europe. So he was knocked out of the contest, and the contest has ended up between Theresa May, who actually voted to remain, and a woman who we don't know that much about, to be totally honest, who is who was actually a candidate for, you know, a big outspoken person for the Leave campaign, but overshadowed by the men. Anyway, so those 2 have gone out now to the general public that are card-carrying members, and that's going to be the vote for the next, you know, they'll vote over the next sort of 2 months or whatever. It does mean now that we do know that the next Prime Minister will be a female Conservative, which of course is interesting because we don't get very many female Prime Ministers, but also because this nation has been through hard times before, and one particularly hard time was just around the time that I was born, so about 30 odd years ago, and we had a female Prime Minister, a female Conservative Prime Minister in fact, who is known the whole world over, Margaret Thatcher, who changed the world in whether you agree with her methods or not. You know, she upset a lot of people, you know, and quite a divisive person, really. Many people hate her, many other people love her. She's long dead now, been dead a couple of years, and it's just interesting to note that we are going into another very, very difficult, what could be a very, very difficult period of time, and here we are again with the prospect of a female Conservative leader. You know, parallels will be drawn whether they like it or not, whether it's a similar situation economically or not. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens regardless of which woman wins the vote. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in October when David Cameron actually steps down and the person who is about to win this vote steps up.